luxury, power, and the strange theater behind the battlefield. Now, we step away from the muck. We leave behind the fields of aging court, the broken pikes, the blistered feet, and instead, we enter a different kind of arena. The floors here are swept, the ceilings high and vaulted, tapestries hang heavy on the walls. The scent is no longer sweat and smoke, but beeswax, sweet wine, and a faint touch of lavender. This is the court, and this is where the knight, who once stood in armor caked with mud, now dons velvet, speaks poetry, and bends the knee in ritual. At least, that's the image. Chivalry, the code by which knights were meant to live, is often remembered as noble, romantic, almost mythical. The term chivalry originally referred simply to horsemanship, to the craft and discipline of the mounted warrior. But over time, it absorbed layers of moral and social expectation. Honor, courtesy, loyalty to one's lord, respect for women. It sounded beautiful, and perhaps, in small ways, it shaped conduct. But it was also a performance. At court, knights were expected to embody the ideals of chivalry. They learned to speak eloquently, to dance with precision, to fight in tournaments, not just for victory, but for style. Tournaments were not always safe. Jousts could be deadly, but they were also controlled, predictable, a rehearsal of war, without the mud. Imagine the knight at court, his armor now polished, not his voice reciting verses in French or Latin, his smile subtle, carefully measured. He exchanges pleasantries with ladies in embroidered gowns. He presents tokens of favor, a ribbon to wear in the next tournament. He kneels before the king or duke, pledging service. He practices humility in front of others, while scheming for land, marriage, or influence behind closed doors. Because court was not only about honor, it was about power. And knights who succeeded were often those who understood how to navigate appearances. A bold move on the battlefield might win fame, but a wise word at dinner might win a province. Beneath the ideals of chivalry was an intricate web of politics, favoritism, and presentation. A knight's coat of arms mattered. His lineage mattered, but so did his alliances, his timing, his ability to flatter without groveling, politeness, a kind of sword. And not all knights came from noble birth. Some rose through valor, others through cunning. Even the romance of courtly love, so often portrayed in songs and poems, was largely theatrical, a game of longing, admiration, and symbolism. Rarely consummated, but always watched. It was more about gesture than passion, more about prestige than affection. So, while the common soldier dug trenches or hauled wagons, the knight at court recited oaths, drank from silver goblets, and plotted his next move not on the field, but across the chessboard of noble society. This wasn't hypocrisy in the cruel sense. It was more Satala double life. A knight could be brutal in war, but gentle at court. Savage in battle, but refined in music.